where they ask you to find the value of k. And I specifically said a really good flashcard to have that relates to any problem where it says find the value of k is something like this. Don't think about k. Look at the problem and find something that is very familiar to do. Do those familiar steps, and you'll eventually just find k without really looking for it. Wait, if you need me to say that again. Okay. You see a problem. Okay, funny. You see a problem where they say find k. You should not go looking for k. Instead, study the problem and think of something that seems familiar and kind of normal to do. Do those steps, and you'll just discover the value of k. So Ella's going to help me.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Good. So hey, as you look here, just kind of temporarily try to remember, k is just a number.
Yeah.
So think of k as being 6. It doesn't really matter. So what would be a familiar, come on, focus. Ella, what would be a familiar thing to start doing based on what you see?
Substitution.
Use substitutions. No, hey. Use substitution is not a bad thought. There's another thought you had prior to that you're just not telling me. It's like, why?
Stop hiding your secret.
I'm not hiding anything from you.
2 points for Ella. Somebody else take the pressure off of her.
Thank you.
When you see this, what's the familiar thing to do?
The addition rule.
Oh, no.
Even before that, I was hoping somebody would say, "Look, we'll just solve the freaking integral." You know, like we're just here. Look.
Oh, it's so close to the salt.
Hey.
Oh my gosh.
Look. Hey, it's a case of where we have to use the fundamental theorem again. You can think of this right here as being f prime. We need to do what Jane talked about. We need to find the antiderivative of f prime and then apply the bar. Okay? Now, what Nick said is accurate. There's two things being added, so don't do a u substitution. Just find the antiderivative, each one individually. So this is going to equal. You need to think with me and stop watching, and some people got to put their phones away. There's no retakes ever again. Like, I'm really strict on that one. Like, there's a few things in this life that bother me more than I'm trying to help, and you're just like, oh, I don't need your help. Until you get a bad test score, then suddenly you need my help. Like, that really frustrates me. So, hands up. What's the antiderivative here? Come on. Talk to each other if you need to, but you got to think with me. If all you do is sit passively in class, you're going to throw away thousands of dollars of tuition when you get to college. Thousands. The professor just does not care. Like, they'll drone on endlessly. The whole room's going to be talking. They don't give a crap. You already paid them. Like, you'll see for yourself, like I promise. You wait.
I think so, yeah.
Hands up. What's the antiderivative? Ada.
X to the 8 over 8 plus k second over 2, right?
Close. Remember, k is a constant, like say 5. So if k were 5 eta, what would be the antiderivative? There we go. The antiderivative of 5 would be 5x, so the antiderivative of k is kx. Points for Ada. Please raise your hand and tell me if you are prepared to say that. Point. Okay. Questions? Please.
So do you have to keep setting it equal to 16 as you go down?
Yes, thank you. Jane got a ticket for pointing out where equal is appropriate, and all eyes up. Come on. Look. There is no more appropriate place for equal than here. Like, you have to keep track of equal. Simple example. Okay, had a 3-year-old granddaughter. She's a little older now. When she was 3 years old, she got all excited one day because she said, "We get to play a game." And she's like, "We get to roll dice and move things."
That's my favorite game.
Okay? Look, everyone's got to get away from the idea that when you're solving a math problem, you're rolling dice and moving things. Okay? I swear that's what half the planet thinks math is. Roll dice and move things. I don't know what's going on, but move things around. Look, this is it. It's all about equal. Always. You just keep paying attention to the equal sign and you cannot go wrong. As soon as you see that you're violating equality, stop. Okay, I'm making a mistake because I'm violating equality. Other question, please.
Do half foot equals
That's the
16?
first time it's like.
Yes. Yep. 2 points. Yeah, if you forget the equals 16, you really are missing the whole point of the problem. So now just plug it in. Like I said, I'm just doing something familiar. I'm not paying much attention to K at all. And my hope is that, don't forget the large parentheses, I'll be able to figure out, sorry, that's the 8th power. Remember, every time I replace X, I put in a set of parentheses. It's all equal to 16. Question? Okay, remember a moment ago I gave you a huge hint. I said when you're solving an integral and you're doing the arithmetic, don't try to combine these and don't try to combine these. They come from the same source. So it's better to just write everything out and then these two will more easily combine and these two will more easily combine. Wait, you need to talk through that again. Cool. So, a little bit trick on the AP test. You can figure out what 2 to the 8th is, but you don't actually have to. Because 2 to the 8th is exactly the same thing as negative 2 to the 8th. This is positive, this is negative. When they add together, you get 0. So it's a really good example of don't get on autopilot. Just be thinking as you're working. That is a skill that every employee you will ever have, including yourself, if you decide to work for yourself, will highly value. Yeah, no one wants to hire someone who's not thinking. Buy a machine to do that. So these two will add to make 0. Anyone just wait if you need me to talk through that again if that didn't click. So now I have 2K. That would be negative 2K. Distribute the negative, it becomes positive 2K. Hey, I didn't have to really work very hard, and I figured out the value of K. I missed the humor on that.
Funny, so.
Too many power tools in my past and present. So, question? Awesome. K is 4.